Hi, everybody. I'm Mike.
And my name's Carl, and this is a Corepunk podcast. And though this week we're going to talk about our playtest predictions, because hopefully it's coming soon, isn't it, Mike? Where are we at now?
Should
What's
be
the date?
20th.
21st?
So
20th?
tail end of September. We're expecting people to be, if they're on track. We haven't heard anything at this moment in time about if invites have gone, when they're going to go, but soon. So
I guess that's
yeah,
a good
with
place to start then. So do you think it's still coming in September? Do you reckon they'll get it?
yes.
Staying
Short
hopeful?
answer, yes. Hopeful. I think reasoning for that, I think we're gonna see the first playtest be really short. I only think
Right.
it's gonna be like a weekend, and I reckon it may be next week, the last
Eh,
week of
Is it
September.
confirmed that it is sort of times like that? Do you know? Is it sort of, if they
Yeah,
mentioned
so
that it's going to be sort of like it's only going to be on certain days, it's not going to be just,
yeah,
here's the
so they
thing for.
Eugene said in Discord that it will be kind of small expanding. And that there's going to be, I think one of the questions was about how that's going to be. Are you just going to be able to play? Um, or is there limitations? And he did say that there's going to be um you're only going to be played certain classes, certain areas to try and hone down and work out on the bugs for those specific things. So in
Right, yeah.
my head, how I translate that is like maybe there will be the first play test. You could play these classes, and and it's this set of quests or this particular area that'll last for 2 days, three
I
days,
th-
4 days, and then they'll close, bug shoot, invite more people
yeah.
to the next one.
I think as well for the first play test, I think he said it's going to be just sort of look and feel. I don't know what
Yes,
that
he did. Yeah,
like sort
I
of means. I guess that's just sort of like make your character have a run around in the world. Maybe there'll be some sort of, go and fight the mobs in the open world sort of
I
events
imagine it
there.
as almost a very early demo.
Yeah.
You
Couple
you think
quests.
back to when I mean this shows our age, when you used to get the demo discs for like PlayStation and Xbox,
Yeah, yeah.
and it would be like the first level or the first bit, and then that's what got you hooked, wasn't it? That's what got you to buy the game eventually when it came out. So I would imagine, yeah, like a general vibe check. Like we've seen the videos, but obviously between what you see and what you when you it's in your hands and playing it, that's a
It's
different
different,
thing. So
isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but I'm optimistic. I'm still
Yeah.
optimistic.
So yeah, I don't know. I do think they're gonna come.
You think
Hopefully this
it'll still
month.
be on time?
Yeah, I think it'll be. If not, I don't think it'll be any later than like the second week of October. I don't
Yeah,
think this is going
if
to
there are
be.
going to be any issues, yeah,
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be like another. We've decided to delay it another couple months, and I guess the reasoning
no,
behind that is because they've already done a closed play test, and I know that that's probably with family and friends, but
yeah, friends and family. Yeah.
they're clearly at a state now where they're happy for people to play it,
Mm.
in some aspects. So
I get it. I mean, what comes across to me sometimes is there is an apprehension. I think we have actually kind of touched on it before, like of they know the game's not perfect because it's not expected to be. It's in development. That's the whole
yeah,
thing. I think the I would have reservation if I was in their position where this is going to be the first time it's in anyone's hands that isn't them,
yeah, yeah,
and that's a big scary thing because you know it wouldn't happen, but in the back of your mind you're just thinking, what happens if I invite those 10 people who are part of the community, however, they've talked about how they're going to invite people and who gets invited, but imagine that, and then 80% of them being like, oh man, this just hit
it
this
sucks. Yeah,
not
it
just
doesn't work at
yeah,
all. Yeah, yeah,
because then you're starting on a feeling of like, well, where do we go from here? And obviously
yeah.
that's the whole point of a playtest because you get the feedback. But it's been, it's how many years? 2019 was it the start of it
Yeah,
all?
yeah. It was like December
So
2019. Yeah,
yeah, so it's like we're getting to that 4 years now, isn't it? Of kind
and
of
it was in development when we first came in for 6, 7 years before they
Yeah.
started opening it public. So yeah, it's a long time now.
Yeah, so it's a long time to let them you almost like your child into the world. Like, well, you're probably aware, a lot of families when they have newborn babies, like they don't put the child out on the internet
No,
straight
exactly.
away.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a precious thing you want to keep for yourself, and letting that out in the world for the first time it's an important moment. So I do get that kind of sentiment from the team.
I think
But
that's a
yeah,
lot around
I
the
go on.
visual NDA as well. Just like how they're letting people play it, but you can't take any screen capture yet because they're
Yeah,
expecting you'll find silly bugs that
yeah,
they may need to sort. So
yeah. But I would
I
agree with
wouldn't.
you in that sense of I can't see it being any. If there is a delay, we're talking weeks rather than
Yeah,
we'll see you in January. Um,
yeah,
I think, and as well, once that first playtest is out, that's the ball being pushed off the top of the cliff. Then it's only going to gain momentum, so they'll want to
yeah,
make sure it starts on a good footing. I would expect.
yeah. And I was thinking that today. I was thinking, I wonder if the thing that's stopping them right now is the fear of just letting people in. Like the
Mhm.
just sort of waiting. I guess it won't be because they'll be excited for people to play it. But I was thinking if that was me, you would be hesitant now that it's like in a state where you're just like, oh my god,
So
people are going to play this now.
yeah, yeah, because you're at the mercy then of people who obviously have an invested interest in the game, but like in terms of their part in creating it, everyone who's on the team has an invested part, so they want to ensure that the game's the best it can possibly be. For us as consumers, we want it to be the best game, but we're also, I mean, it's the internet. You only need to look around a few corners and you'll see that the internet's not a nice place.
Yeah,
And if someone doesn't like something, they'll let you know, and that can really kind of make or break a game as well, especially in this climate where news can literally come out. Like say if we had a message now from insider news, or we played it and we were sat on this podcast now going awful, absolutely terrible. Like people are tuning because it's the first time that it's happened, and if they're hearing negative things, that perpetuates. And
yeah.
same with the positive side of it, of like, so like you say, I do get the apprehension 100%. I'd be exactly the same, I think.
I was speaking to Illumio in the Discord yesterday. I think it was yesterday, just saying how excited I am for just to make my character, just to like, just to get
Yeah.
that character. And he was saying, "Oh, why? Because it's not that in depth anyway." I was just like, "Yeah, but it's the start. And he
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, fair point. Um, it's the
Yeah.
start of the journey, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's your
Oh,
first,
yeah,
just when
because
you
I
actually,
my plan is to proper not um play the character I think I'm gonna play on release.
yeah,
So
yeah,
any play test betas and that, if we get in, I want to play the things I'm probably not gonna spend 300, 600 hours playing with my
yes,
main character. I want to say it's, I don't know. I feel like in an MMO, like you said, there is that sacred level of like, this is my character. This is this is the champion. This is the hero that is going to make it to
yeah."
top level, smiting down enemies in dungeons. So
And
yeah, that'll
they
be
have announced who you can play in the playtest, which is quite cool because one of them is the character that I think I'm going to play, which is the
which
Champion
one's that?
Ranger.
Right. Are you
So,
going to play
and
it on? If you got into playtest, are you going to
I'll,
go down
I'll
that
definitely
same
go,
route?
yeah, yeah, I definitely will in this because the other character I'm thinking of playing isn't in the playtest, which is a Warmonger Shaman. So
Okay.
I'm thinking, right, so if I can check out the Champion Ranger, and if it is just sort of like every other bowman, maybe I will go the Warmonger route just to freshen it up a bit. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Try
so
something
the
new.
four that have been done, there's two. It's two champion classes, which is the Destroyer and the Ranger, a Bomber Blast Medic, and a Warmonger Legionary,
Yes.
which is
Which are
quite
all
exciting.
things we've seen from the videos so
The
far.
videos, yeah, because yeah,
Um, which is good. And I kind of, as much as we'd love the freedom to play all of them, I know it was said that Eugene, when asked about other classes, are there going to be new classes added and stuff, that is like further down the line. There was a
yeah,
lot in when he did his little Q&A and stuff, how and a lot of things, and understandably, is it's further down the line. We're not Our mind isn't cast on what the mounts are going to be or the public transport system right now. That will come, but we
Yeah,
don't need we our focus isn't making sure the trains all run on time for you to get across the
it
world.
might, yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Although I
it's
think
interesting. I like the four heroes. I always say characters, but they're
it's here,
two of
yeah, it's
those are one hero, so
yeah, exactly, yeah.
it um yeah, I
And
don't know what
I
I'll
always want to
play.
say class, but it's not. It's a hero, and then it's the
It's not
class.
Yeah, it's a hero then in
Yeah,
class. I might try Blast Medic. I might,
yeah.
because I don't
You always play a healer
c-
when we play other games. You always play the
yeah, and
healer.
that's the other thing of like, I know this sounds like I'm just contradicting myself, but if I happen to play something I don't think I'm going to play and I happen to fall in love with it, that's
That,
also a good outcome because
yeah,
I will have never have known otherwise. If I'd have just gone, I know I want to play, the commando or whatever it is my mind's set as, and I do that for all the play tests. Yeah, I'll be efficient. I'll feel comfortable with the hero and the class when it comes to the release. But I might miss out on a little gem. Like, for
yeah.
all I know, we could be sat here now. I have not even iota of interest to play any of the Pain Reaper classes. But
But yeah, yeah, yeah.
beta might come. I might go, let's try it. And I might fall in love and I might s- go to the
Because if
dark
they're
side and
doing
become a pyromancer.
well, if they're doing those classes that you're not interested in well enough to get you interested, how good is the class that you're going to be interested
Gonna
going to
be,
be? You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just that of like if the love's there, which I imagine there are, and I also don't think we'll see another hero before release. I don't.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I can't imagine him. I think this is just like a nice core group to open the game with.
Yeah.
And then obviously down the line with a DLC or an expansion, not a DLC but expansion,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
you'll
So
get
they
more.
they did talk about, going back to Eugene and his little Q&A. They did mention someone asked about whether the playtest will have a level limit, class limit, zone limit. And he did say for the first one, there'll be a limit for level, zone, and masteries. With each test, we'll be making more and more content playable.
Right.
So that kind of, again, backs up the idea of like there will be a time window for that test.
Yeah.
Bug
Yeah. Yeah.
fix,
Oh, right. Yeah.
essentially.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's interesting. And yeah, I don't know what I think. I'll commit Blast Medic. That's what I will
Yeah.
play if I get into the playtest or whenever we get into beta, whatever comes first.
Yeah. Whatever comes first.
Um, but yeah, that's interesting. So, what are you? I know they've said obviously there are limits. What are you hoping to? So, I'll go on the idea that you're in the playtest.
I'm
You've
in
got
there.
your
Right.
email.
I
Hello,
can see
Stumble
it.
Through.
Yeah.
You are welcome to the world.
It's like a letter to Hogwarts, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it is. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
it would be. I tell you something, I wouldn't be blocking my chimney so they don't come through. The first one that comes through, I'm opening, I'm going
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
VIP. So it comes through and it says, "Thank you for being a wonderful person. Here you go. Download the client." And you click play.
Well, that sounds like the
What are you
email that they might
expecting?
send. That actually. Yeah.
What are you expecting?
What am I expecting? What am I hoping for? Or what
Yeah.
am I interested in? I, funnily enough, I want to see sort of what the drops are like the loot drops and stuff, but I don't know how much we'll see in the first play test of that. I really want to see what'll keep me because I'm very much just like into the cosmetic side of things. I really want my character to look cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing I really liked about this game is the fact that the armor isn't sort of it doesn't contribute to your stats. You know, you can look the
No.
way you want. So, and also the skins mechanic that they had in there, the fact that you can just put a skin on and now all of a sudden your range is a zombie or whatever. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I really hope that in some, I don't think we'll get it in this first one, but it'd be so cool
No.
to see some like what armors we're picking up. You know, I imagine there'll be some armors because you'll be leveling up your character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There'll be that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it'd be cool to see some of the rarer legendary armors and you know, like those sort of higher tier cosmetic things that it'll keep you wanting to go and do the raids to get those random drops, to get those,
Yeah,
That's what,
100%.
yeah,
I always thought I kind of almost thought about the same thing of like what the loot cycle's going to be like.
yeah,
So not necessarily so much the items, but I thought of a great way, and they should 100% do this, is when they have the playtest or the beta,
yeah.
have an NPC somewhere that has legendary armor, a legendary weapon or something just on. Don't
Just so you can
advertise
see
it.
it, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But could you imagine the absolute mind blowing moment that if it's beta, everyone's playing, like, oh, this is great and doing it, and someone just stumbles across that guy, that
yeah,
NPC. It's called Mike Plays, and he has legendary armor on. He's a
yeah. Oh, is that
commando.
right?
He's
Yeah,
a
yeah, right.
legionary. Yeah,
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
know what I mean? But I'm like, what a great way that would be to showcase like what their
What you could
intentions
look
are.
like, yeah. Because
Because I think it will, like you say, it will be hard for if they're structured play tests to allow you to see all those things if you can only get to level 10 and it's only this zone and it's only this
yeah,
class. But what a great way to like just introduce an NPC, maybe even a quest giver, and you think, bloody hell, their armor looks
yeah.
absolutely amazing. And then they go, oh, by the way, on the shop, here's that
Here's the
skin
art.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
You just be
yeah,
like, nah.
yeah.
Losing
Because
your mind.
ultimately, that's the thing that keeps you playing in the long run. Once you get to the end game and stuff like that, it is that sort of kick for just getting loot and better loot,
Mm.
and just
Sweet
making it
dopamine hit.
exactly of just looking really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for
Yeah.
that, and I'm excited to, as being a bit of an audio nerd and a musician myself, I'm excited to hear the sound design because
Yeah.
it's really easy to get like on a console. I find when you've got the pad with the vibration and the haptics now, it's really easy to get sort of a physical and a tactile sort of like hit when you hit a character.
Yeah.
There's
There's
feedback.
feedback.
You can
Yeah.
feel it like, and and with PC gaming, a lot of that is in the sound design. That's what gives it its
Hmm.
weight. When you're
Yeah.
attacking a
Yeah.
character, when you're using spells. So I'm really excited to hear the sound design. Like
Yeah.
yeah, something I'm really excited for. What about you?
Yeah. And I, I yeah, I'm I'm more about the I'm into lore. You know me. I told you I'm already going to fill out my
Yeah,
notepad and stuff, and I like the idea of world building. It's why I like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. Kind of being in the world, and like the thing that excites me, and I've talked about it before on the other episodes, like being encompassed into that and in the feel like you're in the world. The world's alive.
yeah,
Like that kind of, and I guess that kind of ties in pretty well with what he said. The first playtest is about the look and feel.
yeah,
Like that's that is what I'm looking forward to, because I love the idea of like potentially we're going to be getting to the first time you hit town,
yeah,
like
yeah,
and
yeah,
getting
yeah.
that
The first,
vibe and
yeah, yeah,
feeling. Um, so I think for me, as much of course gameplay, the loop, all those things, 100% excited. I'm just excited for everything. But I think one of the bigger bits I'm looking forward to is seeing that kind of what's your role? What's your role as the hero in
yeah.
this world?
Yeah. What's the
And
story behind what you're doing here?
why do you need to be the hero that everyone needs? Or so that'll be interesting, I think, for me. I know, and again, similar to your thing with the armor, we're not probably going to see a lot of it in the playtest, but you can, as with everything, like when you have a new meal for the first time, you only need to take one bite and you know whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
And I think that's what kind of excites me for this, is like getting that taste and going, this this is good. Might need a bit more salt, like it's okay.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
that's the whole point of it. So yeah, that's my thing. And just druids, come on.
Yeah, it's just what they've drew. It's just
It'll
anything.
it won't happen. Like you say, we're not gonna. I do firmly believe we're not gonna see any more than we've already got. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think if anything, um, having heroes at a later date, like further down the line, I think actually what that will do would be give you an incentive to make a new character.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think the
multiple.
only downside to it being is that if you leave it so long that everyone's itching for it, you see it in some games. World of Warcraft was a great example. So when they introduced the Death Knight in Wrath of the Lich King, the only problem then is that everyone was a
Everyone's
Death
playing
Knight.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there is something to be said for leaving it too long, because then all you're going to get is the
Everyone
server
jumping over to
rolling
it. Yeah, yeah,
loads of those. Um, but with the way they do the hero system here, is that a new hero will have three subclasses. So even then, in Corepunk, it wouldn't actually be that bad because not everyone's going to pick all
yeah.
the same subclass. So that'll be interesting.
I'm excited to
Um,
see if they like the crafting mechanics stuff like that, the professions in this.
mhm.
Um, and yeah, just sort of because like, going off the last episode that we were talking about the sort of efficiency, I'm excited. I'm excited to just if we like depending how much is there, just to live in the world a little bit and not just be going quest line to quest line and try and a big raid. Well, obviously they're not going to be raid in the first place to test, but a boss fight and
No,
stuff. I'm excited to just be like, what am I going to be doing in the downtime of the game and how's that
yeah.
play out? You know what I mean?
I'm interested as well with the smaller play tests of if they're gonna have parties, groups.
Yeah, I imagine so. I imagine
Um,
that's why it is smaller groups because they'll want
yeah, but
parties of people together.
how crazy is that gonna be? I can just imagine. I keep the number I always come to is 10. So in my head, I'm just gonna always revert back to that. I feel like the first people is gonna be 10. I've got no facts for that, but that's
Yeah,
just in my head. But imagine how crazy that would be. Like you're one of the first 10, and you log on, and then invitation from, and you'll recognize the name from Discord or the forums.
yeah, yeah.
Like, ah,
Oh,
you're in
nice.
the
Yeah,
playtest, and then it's like that kind of thing of like going around, and I think I like the idea of like who am I going to bump into?
yeah. It'd be
Like I
nice to
feel like
see
I've
how
been
the
in the community that long now that there are names that if they choose the username they have in the in the Discord or
yeah.
the forum, like it's you, like kind of
Yeah, exactly.
that
Yeah,
would be quite cool.
it'll be nice to see how all that works as well. Sort of like the in-game chat features, the ping system, stuff like that.
Ping system, I'm really looking
Yeah,
forward to seeing that in action, like from a player perspective, like how I
yeah,
will use it. Because we talked about the ping system quite early on in one of the podcasts about how I've mentioned ping systems are in most games. They're not in most MMOs. There's not.
yeah,
They
yeah,
just doesn't. The system isn't built around that. So the fact that that is in this, and because I've been listening to our old podcasts, just to refresh my mind. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute, and we were talking about how and it's funny because at the time we talked about our friends who didn't have babies who maybe can't go on headset, and then
oh
I've
yeah, yeah.
realised
And now, yeah, I'm one of them. Yeah,
you're that guy. You're one of
yeah,
them.
yeah,
So yeah, there will be those evenings now where you can still, if you can get your hand on the keyboard or whatever, but you can't
yeah,
talk because Melody's and like just chilling,
yeah. She's
and
sleeping
you
on me.
you
Yeah,
can still ping and we can still raid
yeah, yeah, yeah.
dungeons,
Exactly,
win.
100%. Yeah, and
So that will be exciting to see in action, 100%.
I wonder if, as well. Speaking of that, is the Steam Deck. I know that it's not coming to Steam, but you can get non-Steam games playing on it. I wonder if it would play because I know that it's mouse and it's not uh, keyboard sort of control system, but you can map. There's a trackpad on the Steam Deck, so that'd work.
Mm,
You can map WAS and D to different buttons for your spells. So
mm.
I wonder if anyone will try that during the playtest if you can get the download working, or even if it works on
Yeah,
Linux. I no idea, but
yeah, it will be interesting. I think because when you think to, and again going uh, using the standard MMOs, WoW, Guild Wars, like those kind of games, a lot of like the rumor that always crops up with WoW is that it's coming to Xbox.
yeah, yeah,
and how that's going to do. Final Fantasy 14 is on PlayStation 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So and it works really well on a controller. And like you say, the versatility of a Steam Deck where you can have those programmable things, like there is no reason why someone couldn't do it. Um
I've been playing New World, that works really well on a Steam Deck.
yeah,
Surprisingly, you can get, like, nearly 30 frames per second on that, and
yeah.
it'd be very playable. So it
It'll
just
be an
yeah.
absolute dream for you. Could you
Oh,
imagine just like
God, if I could play it on my Steam Deck, just like, because it just means, like, yeah, those nights where I can't get to the PC, but I am sat on the couch and no one's there. It's just
you
extra
need to
time.
play.
I don't see
Yeah.
why any developer wouldn't now. I know obviously it won't be on their priority at the moment, but I don't see why anyone wouldn't now develop for a handheld device, and not even just Steam Deck, because there's the other one, the ROG system and the Razer one,
Yeah,
and
it's becoming an emerging market, isn't it? And obviously, by the time we maybe see Corepunk out, and it's whatever its competitors are going to be at that time. Obviously, there's games like Ashes of Creation on the in the pipeline and stuff, and they're all going to be kind of whilst in their own unique worlds. MMO is such a generic umbrella term now because when MMO was coined, like you still had to plug into the wall to get on the internet, and it used to
yeah,
dial up. Like so, massively multiplayer online games were a niche.
oh
Like
yeah,
you
very
had
niche,
to
yeah.
have internet, and now so the what you're fighting for in terms of market share, I think, is very different. And I think things like you say, playability, they're not like you say, they're not bringing it to Steam Deck, but if they can give,
They
I
can
don't
give
know,
it a
not
little tweak and it just work. If they
give
give
it
it a little
tweak
nod, you
and
know what I
just
mean?
give it the people, not necessarily give people the tools to do it, but have a way that
Don't prohibit it.
yeah, yeah, that's a good
You know what I
diplomatic way
mean?
of saying it,
Don't,
because
because
I
there's
think I think it is an untapped market.
Bungie ban you instantly
Yeah,
if you
they
try and
do.
play Destiny on it and stuff. And it's just like, come on, you'd be, you know what I mean? It's more time on the game. It's more time in the shop, in your
Yeah,
store.
yeah, and I get for some games that their vision is that it's to be. That's why things like Final Fantasy's on just PlayStation, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
for Final Fantasy 16, because that's their vision. They signed into that and they want it to be on that because that's the player experience and all this stuff. So I get it, but then I also do think, like, if someone else is interested and you can make it happen,
make
like,
it happen. Yeah.
make it happen. It's
So
just
pulling us away from the playtest there a bit, but you
yeah.
know,
But I mean, it kind of all counts because those are the
because
things where if you're
someone's going
thinking
to try,
about,
aren't they? If they get in and they've got a Steam Deck, they're definitely going to try it. Like,
I
why
think
wouldn't you?
once you start getting into the bigger numbers, um, there'll certainly be someone who'll, if anything, as just to see if it is possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah,
and I think that's quite an exciting prospect. Um, but yeah, going back to the playtest, I do think the other bit I'm kind of looking forward to, and I guess another question that hasn't been answered, and I don't want to assume, but it would be nice to know. If you get in the first playtest, are you in the second one? And are you in the? Is that you then in
the remain.
till
Yeah, yeah,
because they talk about like Eugene talks about it unlocking gradually, but is
yeah,
it a case of we're going to get 10 people to do this and then 50 other people to do the second one, or is it 10 and then 40? And are they going to, because I
yeah.
guess there's merit in either way, because I guess if the person who played the first one bug identifies bugs, errors, whatever, they go away and fix it, then that person will have the knowledge of that. And if they know that that's been fixed or whatever they did suddenly doesn't cause an error or the issues they had,
Yeah,
there's value in that. But then there's also value in
like
having more eyes, fresh eyes that haven't done it. So I discover a bug in playtest one. I don't get in playtest two. Someone else does who has a different set of eyes, and they either re-encounter the bug with a fresh take or do the thing I did, no bug,
Yeah.
and then they know it's a success. So that'll
I
be
like the
interesting. I wonder if how they, how that goes about.
I like that idea, but I think they'll open it up and let more in just for a server capacity. Like, how do the servers take more people coming in, and
Yeah,
instead of sort of like being like, right, we're opening it up, 100 people, bang. You know what I mean? I don't know.
yeah, no, I mean like the invites to it. So
Yeah,
the 10 get invited just exponentially. Even if
yeah.
the next
No,
playtest
yeah, that's what
is
I'm saying. I think they will
yeah,
just the first 10 will be in, and then the next 10 will come, and that'll make 20, and then yeah, the next 10 will come and
just do it
30.
that
You
way.
know, yeah. I
Yeah,
think, but you could be right. Like you said, it is interesting.
yeah. I'd like to think that the people they let in then aren't like,
There could
well,
be
see you
people
in
play.
beta. Yeah,
There could be people playing right now.
there could be. Yeah,
Could be. We just don't know
yeah.
about it. You know,
I
if and
mean,
if you are
it is
playing it right now
only
and you want to talk about it, get on this podcast. Tell
let
us.
us know. Let us know.
Yeah,
We need to know. We need to know everything and anything. Um, which kind of brings up the subject of NDA. I know we touched on it very briefly. The visual NDA is just basically you're not allowed to post videos or screenshots till they sort the major bugs. That's what
yeah,
Eugene said, which means you can talk about it to your heart's content on open channels. So podcasting, making videos, Discord, all that good
yeah,
stuff, which I think is a really good move
yeah. Of course,
because
yeah.
anyone who's constructive will know that it won't be perfect and there will be criticisms and there'll be positive,
Yeah, of
constructive
course,
criticism,
yeah.
which is what they need. Um, but I do like that they've gone. Actually, we're not going to say
Not like yeah, yeah. Stay
yeah,
quiet.
yeah,
Yeah,
because some NDAs are just literally like you can't even say you have an NDA.
yeah,
Like there are
yeah.
levels of that where it's like, are
No,
you playing this?
it's a
What's
good
that
way to
game?
start getting it circulating and start restoring the faith of that the game's real. You know what I mean? And people are
Yeah,
playing it and it's working. And because of so many years of sort of like the beta's come in, at least with this, with people saying, "Look, no, I've played it now and it's working and it's great." It'll just restore that faith in
oh
the
yeah,
community and it'll be a massive boost for everyone.
yeah,
So
100%.
that's a good point to say as well. If we do get in, please subscribe. We'll be talking about the playtest a lot in here. We've got a Discord that we're currently sorting out, which we're going to try and have as a hub of information of Corepunk, where you'll be able to find all facts of the heroes, any facts in the game, lore. Michael start churning out little lore
Oh
bits.
yes, the Chronicles of Corepunk will be uh, there.
Fast.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Our Discord, and I would encourage you to join even now as we kind of build those
Build
levels
it with
of
us.
yeah, because we are hoping to make it
Somewhat
a
a
one
wiki.
stop shop.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
like yeah,
um,
a one stop shop for information. Yeah,
and you can always chat to us. I love speaking to people. I absolutely love it. If
you
people
speak to
ever
me all the
want to,
time.
yeah, and if you ever want to message me and be like, "Hey, Mike, what do you think about this?" and I will, and Carl will testify. I will talk. If you need
True.
someone to talk, I will talk.
It's
Even if I
true.
don't know anything about the subject, which is quite often, I will still talk. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I look forward to, I think, like you say, gaining the community trust again or faith. I don't know what the right
Just the
word is.
morale, just
I,
getting the morale
yeah,
going. You
just the
know,
morale boost. I think, like you say, having that thing of someone who isn't paid by artificial core isn't in the ecosystem. They're a consumer who has played it can come out and say, yes, it's real. I've played it. It's this, it's that, it's all this. I hope they do this. Like that will it's the kindling to the fire that is
yeah,
100%, and then it's only a matter of time before
it blows up
the it blows up, and rightfully so. Everything we've seen so far is there's
to
no
a high caliber in
reason.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Have you got any? Speaking of expansions, briefly, like
go on.
as they gradually unlock, what would you like to see before? So let's do the timescale of first playtest to closed beta. Say there's 10
I've
sessions.
I think we have like this first one, look and feel, blah blah. just get out there, see the world a bit. Then we start opening up the raids, PvP, yeah, and then
Hmm.
at some point I'd give everyone a max level play to see what the end game stuff's like,
Ah, I
and then
like that. That's
server
a
wipe.
great
You
shout.
know what I mean before beta.
100% actually. I didn't even consider because they can totally do that, can't they? They could just give you a proper geared character and say, "Hey, do these dungeons or do
Yeah,
this
yeah,
raid or do this world experience."
yeah,
Oh, man, that's a great shout. In my head, I just kept thinking, "Yeah, that's great. You've excited me even more now." I did that's why we asked the questions. But yeah, that would be great to get to that thing of like this playtest is PvP. Um, here's the four classes you can play, or we're going to limit it to rock paper scissors, and
yeah,
you work it out, and let's see how we go,
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing. But yeah, could just give us legendary stuff.
Food for thought
I
for you,
wouldn't.
that one.
I wouldn't want legendary stuff though, because it's like the ring in it. It's like the one ring. As soon as I put that on,
Yeah, I
I'm
wouldn't.
gonna
Yeah, maybe
become
just like,
Gollum and just be like,
yeah, just like max characters, max skills, and then let you go out and try and do some dungeons like that and try and get the
"Hmm,
legendaries. Maybe trickle a few in there so you can see what it's like.
I like that. That is very good.
What are
It's
you looking
excited me."
forward to in the comments below? Let us know. What do you want to see in the
Yes,
playtest? Yeah, and like we said, we are if we do get in, we're going to be talking loads about it on this podcast. So please give us a like and a subscribe. A lot of you have lately, and it's given us the
it's been
boost that
brilliant.
we needed.
Yes,
Um,
it's been so nice to see people interacting with our,
yeah,
especially the
and
last couple
commenting.
of videos. It's
Yeah,
really been so.
yeah, it's been
Thank you
good
if you
fun.
have. Yeah,
And yeah, like we said, we're going to build a Discord. Well, we're building a Discord. We've already got a Discord, so get in there as well. There'll be a link in the description.
just
But I
there.
guess till next time, give us a shout. Let's have a chat. Tell us what you're looking forward to. All right.
Yes.
See you later, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.